Okay, see you again. Chapter 3. The others on experience with Buddhism. Okay. When I were a young student in Nanjing, I did not believe in any religion. I went to church with some classmates to learn about Christianity. Although I tried to understand it, I could not find a way to accept it. My favorite religion at that time was Islam, because it emphasis works on moral principle and ethics, and I thought that this was raised among religion. When I countered Buddhism back then, the monks were not a very convincing. Therefore, I could not accept Buddhism either, and it was the one resistant the most. I was too young at that time and had not met a true practitioner. After I arrived in Taiwan, I heard of Professor Dong Mei Feng, who was then a former philosopher and professor at National Taiwan University. Having become a, an admirer of his, I wrote him a letter asking about taking a class from him at university. Professor Feng was only in his 40s. At that time, he invited me to his house and told me, nowadays, in school, professors do not act like professors, and students do not act like students either. If you come to the university and expect to learn something, you will be sorely disappointed. When I heard this, I was pretty upset, since he had basically pushed over my plan. Finally, he told me, well, why don't you come to my house every Sunday, and I will give you personal instruction for 2 hours. I could not believe that he was so compassionate toward me. I learned about philosophy at Professor Frank's small table in his little living room, one on one. This was extremely precious to me. He instructed the philosophy of the West, China, India, and finally Buddhism. I taught me that Buddhism is the Penazal world philosophy, and that it provided the greatest enjoyment for humanity. What he told me was fascinating, and soon I realized that Buddhism contains something magnificent. I started to visit the temple in Taipei, Taipei, Taipei. However, the monk I met in those temple just could not clearly explain Buddhism to an intellectual skeptic like me. However, the monks are much better in teaching Buddhism today. Then I set my first sign on Santongsi, which was a large temple in Taipei, Taipei, with a vast collection of sutra. During that period of time, the wide publication and cross in circulation of Buddhist books were very rare. The monks at Zandongzi were extremely kind to me as they followed me to borrow many of precious and rare sutra. They were great help to me. Soon after I started to learn Buddhism seriously, I was fortunate to meet Master Su Che. He was a welcome accomplished historic practitioner who touched and guided me in my study and practice. Just like Miss Fang, he taught me to hour every week for 3 years until he passed away. He passed away, and I then went to Ta Song to follow Mr. Bingnon Lee and started studying and practicing with him. Buddhism is a special kind of knowledge. It is not religion. In order to derive true benefit from it, we have to understand its true nature, have the utmost respect for Buddhism, and I believe Buddha Sakyamuni to be foremost educator in in the history of the world. He was just like Confucius in that he taught everyone tirelessly and without discrimination. Chapter 4. The method, the philo, methodology, and symbolism of the Buddhist educational system. The continuing education system for teachers. The continuing education system for teachers was first established by Buddha Sakyamuni. Many of his students were well accomplished under his instruction. Every year, these students were assigned to teach of different places for 9 months. In the rainy season ran from March April to mid-July, since it was convenient to travel and teach during those 3 months. All the students will become back to meet the Buddha to receive additional teaching and to learn from each other in class discussion. This was called the simmer retreat and it parallel where is currently known as continuing education to teacher the method continuing education no system is inserted by the advancement in technology. However, 2500 years ago, Buddha had already adopted his idea in bringing his students back for additional teaching. Artful Buddhist teaching. Buddhist teaching is full of artistic expression. It the original education with combined what were equivalent today a museum and school system. Therefore, the C combined the traditional school, library, and museum. In an essence, Chinese the traditional school system was not universal. Most students went to see today be a study because it usually had a complete collection of books. Similar to today a library, the collection including not only sutra but also almost every kind of publication. The monks were similar with Buddhism, Confucianism, Taoism, and ancient Chinese texts. They were capable of answering questions and were well versed on various subjects. Consequently, Buddhist institutions began to take over educational mission for Chinese. Typical Buddhist buildings are expressions of art, which are called expression of Buddhism. However, Buddha and Bodhisattva do not appear pre present. Polytheism, the worship of more than one god. Each statue served to inspire wisdom and awakening in each of us. They also present certain aspects of Buddhism which remain practitioners practitioners of the particular topic of teaching. For example, Ganjin Bodhisattva, the most popular Bodhisattva in China, represents infinite completion. When we see this statue, it reminds us to apply to compassion when dealing with the world, its people, and surrounding. However, the people nowadays worship Gaji Bodhisattva are a good and pray for the relief of suffering and to eliminate obstacles. This is a superstitious view and a conception because people forgot to the fact that the statues are the expression of a concept in the building Buddhism. The Buddhist aesthetic color is also an stylistic expression with the simple cultivation whole being. The being similar to a light meeting or the teaching hall from the exterior is appearance to help to story. But there is only one story inside. The internal two story represents absolute truth. are the true reality of life and the universe, and relative truth or worldly view still clouded with the delusion. Interior single story illustrated that both are the same truth. The the delusions, the two appear distinct and different. However, to enlightened they are one and the same. In the center of the main cultivation hall, there are three statues, one Buddha and two Bodhisattva. Buddha presents the true nature of universe and human life, which is called Buddha natural or true mind. Buddha is translated from Sanskrit and means someone who is totally enlightened. The Buddha status represents our original enlightenment, then and the Bodhisattva status represents the application of original enlightened mind. And all the representation and application are indefinite and can be classified into category wisdom and practice. For example, the Pure Land School pay respect to the Buddha and to Bodhisattva of the wisdom paradise. Adita Buddha indefinite light and indefinite lie, brazen of indefinite enlightenment that is an intrinsic part of our nature. Bodhisattva Ganjin and Dazi great threat or Maha Dhammabharata respectively portray compassion with kindness and great wisdom. We should be compassionate and kind toward all beings. Our thought, view, and behavior should be nation rather than emotional, for emotional behavior spells trouble. Therefore, we should not treat the Buddha and Bodhisattva as God, but will they help us? Yes, they will, by providing us with the knowledge of how to protect ourselves from delusion, thereby obtaining really from suffering. Once we have learned the background of the artistic component in Buddhist architecture, music, and statue, we will gain an enriched experience when paying a visit to traditional Buddhist temple. However, nowadays many people do not understand the meaning and the teaching of Buddhism. They mistake the representation of Bodhisattva as a sign of the polytheism. What people fail to understand the fact that the standard is the Buddhism are the teaching aids and the not standard of God or the Buddha and Bodhisattva present our nature and cultivation of virtue. We have indefinite compatibility within our true nature that cannot be expressed by just one theme single theme. Therefore, we have multi-temple presentation for understand A capable person today may have many little on her business card to show her position and accomplishment. The Buddha and Bodhisattva are particular presentation of nature within ourselves. Buddha as in our true nature of mind and the Bodhisattva in our virtue of cultivation. We all possess this ability not until we come to realize the meaning of Buddhist symbolism. We will appreciate this sophistication and completeness of its education. Typical sea building are raised today. The first whole of sea is the whole of heavenly guardian, also known as a Dharma protector, situated in the center of the hall, facing the front door. Imeli Puso Maitreya Bodhisattva Sattva Sattva, who is represented by the image of the historical monk Milibuza, has a big similar that convey the idea that in order to truly learn Buddhism, one should learn to be cheerful and cultural to all. He also has to use build a belly that represented fairness, flexibility, impartiality, passion, and tolerance. Standing beside Miss Milipusa are the four heavenly guardian Dharma protector, the symbolic guardian of the practitioner of the Buddhist way. Whom do they protect? They protect us by reminding us to educate ourselves and to safeguard the proper knowledge which we should learn. Each guardian portray different aspects of such action. The Eastern Dharma protector holding Lord symbolize reprehensibility and safeguard the territory, which means that all of us are responsibility for ourselves, our family, society, and country as a whole. Each of us favor our duty while fulfilling our obligation. We support each other and ourselves as well as the Southern Dharma protector holding a sword symbolize progress and teaches us diligence. He emphasizes the importance of this constantly cultivating and advancing our virtue, wisdom, and knowledge, and to improve permanent in ourselves and our youth. This is similar to cultivation idea of ideal self environment. The wisdom Dharma protector holding a dragon, a snake, a symbolize comprehensive vision and knowledge gained through exposure to the world. He is present to need to open our eye to observe the nature and much to refine what we see and learn and to distinguish good from ill. The Northern Dharma protector a protector being an umbrella, a symbolize a comprehensive study and learning both teach way, plastic and how to achieve the goal in a responsibility fulfillment and self-improvement. At the end, ancient Chinese had said to read 10,000 books and to travel 10,000 miles. We read to gain more knowledge and travel to absorb more effectively. We will then to be able to approach ourselves and to perform our duty more effectively. Today, people visit to hold of Dharma protector to burn incense, portrait, and offer flower and fruit, praying for protection and safety. This is a presentation all the fulfillity image of Buddha and Bodhisattva, and any the offering made a teaching told design to inspire mind and wisdom. They also serve to remind us to of importance of being enlightened instead of equal to waiting sure instead of pollution. They are the three principles of Buddhist teaching and practicing method of practicing of Buddhism. The way in practicing Buddhism numerous about 18,400 part is different. Different from the other, but ultimately lead to the same goal: enlightenment, proper thought and viewpoint, and purity. As such, all parts are equal without one of being superior to the other. People have different ability and level of accomplishment. Furthermore, they are from different environments and should choose a path most suited to them. We can choose any one of the three goals to concentrate our practice on. When we achieve any one of them, the order to will come naturally. There are 10 schools of practice in Chinese Buddhism. Centers to pursuit of the perfect clear mind and enlightenment. The Pure Land and Tibetan Buddhism or Vinaya school train up abstaining the mind, the pure mind, or the school concentrate their practice on proper thought and viewpoint, regardless of which method or school one chooses. They all lead to the same outcome. In other words, once we become the expert in one method, we will become to expert in all method. The purity of the world comes from individual inner purity. With a pure mind without discrimination or attainment, highest level of wisdom rises in which the world around us naturally comes into harmony by reciting the Buddha name, meditating, reciting sutra and mantra, and practicing in accordance with the Buddha teaching. One will attain enlightenment proper thought and the viewpoint and surety of mind, thus the becoming void of all deluded thought. One of the in one on the other hand, one is totally one to wrong path if one chant Buddha's name in the hope of the gaining promotion or wealth. That is religion and the superstition, and it goes against the teaching of the Sakyamuni Buddha. The Buddhist theology illustrates that Buddhism is an education. Buddhism is the teaching of Buddha Sakyamuni. He was its founder. He called him the original teacher, just like the Chinese call Confucius the greatest sage and teacher. The relationship between Buddha and ourselves is a teacher-student relationship which is not religious in nature. In the religion, there is not a teacher-student relationship, but that of a parent, child, or master-servant. About 20 years ago, I gave a theory of teacher in a foreign scholastic university and taught in the Thoma master for one semester. I told my students who were mainly peers and none to take refuge in the Buddha and to learn Buddhism well. There is absolutely no conflict between Buddhism, one religion for one is teacher student and to other for the son. If the priest and nun we were to practice Buddhism and in turn abandon their own religion, I believe that even Buddha would not accept them, for it is against human ethics to discard the parent for the teacher. Therefore, religious followers to benefit if they practice Buddhism as well. Practice we will attain the true wisdom to know exactly what heaven is like, and we are about to decide then how we want to go there. The Buddhism a way of teaching us how to regain our true wisdom. Then monk is called his change his environment to principle in today school, for he is director of educational strategy. All other faculty member are the teacher who execute the principal educational strategy and act as role model for the student behavior and speech. My late teacher, Professor Frank, continually assure me that Buddhism is an education. Later in my study of the Sutra, reformist is settlements that Buddhism is the pinnacle of the world wisdom. It provides the greatest enjoyment for mankind. I have experienced the unsurpassable joy of being free from affiliation, delusion, and wandering thought. My body and mind clean and pure to total, and as I am the happy person in the world. Therefore, I fear in that bit and indebted to Professor Fong, for without him I would not have learned Buddhism, nor would I have such a complete happiness derived from practice Buddha teaching. Okay, finish chapter 4. Okay.